I learned about this. I just always I just assumed everybody else knew.
I might as well start taking the blame now.
Have you ever been in the suite there yet? Wait.
Ought to be done, that will easily done by 1:30. I don't know what time you got, and whatever time you think is after that.
Let's go. Go up.
Maybe 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock would be easy, that'd be great. Where you want to grab?
How about Cafe Royale? Nice cup of coffee. That work?
Yeah.
Huh? They need you back.
Maybe sitting back.
But he'll behave.
You don't.
I would just one off my head.
He's always got smart.
Sure, we can tell how many. Sure, Christie probably has that number.
Yeah, I
She can probably find it out.
Yes, I want that to be generated. Like, who makes that decision? That later.
Well,
We talked about this about a year ago, didn't we?
right, we've been, well, nobody wanted to do it for the election. That's what I think what, like, especially the people that, when they saw somebody run against them.
I get it. See that, man? So it's a live one. There's a bunch. You wouldn't think.
Now we got here, we can start now. Everyone drive, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, kids, please. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the opportunity that we can serve our community. I pray that you help us make good business decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. City Council meeting Monday, November 18th, 2019, comes to order. Roll call, please.
Mary Brington. Here. Jeff Hancock.
Here.
Jerry Walden.
Here.
Aaron Dickens.
Here.
Mark Hover.
Here.
Glenn Perdue.
Here.
Rex Steckelbaum.
Here.
Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes from the former meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brington. Aye. Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hover.
Aye.
Glenn Perdue.
Aye.
Rex Steckelbaum.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Before we get started with the meeting today, we have Doug Baldessari here, which used to be Umball, but now is Baker Tilly. And did I say that right? Yes, you certainly did. Okay, we're going to ask him a couple of questions about some expansion that we're going to do, and just some basic things that we're wanting to look at in 2020. So Doug, if you can come forward, please. Good evening. I'd ask you to look at some expansion that outside the city limits for the future, building new homes, and for us to be able to grow a little bit, particularly out south of town, which is like behind Dr. Garvin's animal clinic, and then someday want to connect from Walmart all the way down 300 to 103, and from Stonegate up to 103 to pick up that portion. And you'd ran some numbers on that first part. Sherry Lane and what's the other number, name of the street? Sandy Gale. Sandy Gale, but that neighborhood, you know what neighborhood I'm talking about?
Yes.
That neighborhood there. So if you could talk about that for just a second.
You're talking to sewer?
Sewer, yes.
Sewer?
Yes.
Yeah, the engineer had provided some numbers on that, and we ran, the cost, I don't remember exactly how much those were, but the cost to run the sewer could be financed with a bond issue and fully covered with the current sewer rates and charges that are in place now. So you could run that expansion, collect the additional revenues from those additional customers, and finance that without additional rate increase.
Would that be would that be mandatory, or?
Yeah, we're within 300 feet, they've got it.
Well, if you run the sewer, by state law, since we're a municipality, anyone within 300 feet have to hook up.
Okay.
Do they already have city water?
He goes right past them.
And they're-
City water.
And that's without annexation, right?
No annexation, you never hear that word come out of my mouth.
That's gonna be the next
Jeff Hancock said that,
one.
not Mary.
Beat
I
me
said
to it.
without annexation. Make sure you get that clear, without.
Now, is that for growth or just to connect the existing properties that are
We have
within?
a developer that would put 20 homes, he said that he would start on the foundations before I could have time to get.
So potentially the 20 new homes, and how many existing homes would be connected?
Well, if we go all the way out 300, it stops at Duke Energy, and our sewer stops right there. And then it comes south, it stops at Stonegate. So if we brought that line out to 103, there's another developer that owns all the land to the east, that there could be
That's where
150
the,
homes put in there.
and then also isn't the potential industrial park area there, you know?
On the inside corner there.
Right.
Yeah. That would be that would be Corey's largest acreage. We have people call it the 100 acres, or the one over 80 acres, and we don't have any spot right now that has, I think it's over 60 or 40.
Pritchard's ground, that,
Hissy Dar, Hissy.
yeah, it's,
That's over 80.
143, I
Yeah.
thought.
So,
Well, my question was really leading to, is there enough properties there to where we flush out on the investment to run the sewers and the water out there? The payback's there within a reasonable amount
It'd
of
help to
time.
know how many residents, businesses are out there.
20
That
new
would-
homes
that
doesn't
would
sound like a lot,
encompass.
but then 200, then that's
But now,
50
you're not
stores.
figuring those 20 new homes in your calculations, you're figuring on what's there now, right?
Well, unless they're gonna immediately hook up, we can't count on those revenues.
Right,
Maybe
so,
it won't happen.
so in other words,
Right.
he's saying, think if I'm hearing you right, you're saying under our current, without raising any rate, without making any change, we could do that work and pay off the bond and be fine. Now, if we get some more people that sign on, then
Well,
that's
and
to our benefit.
Right, and you know, the best way to keep your rates from not having to go up in the future is to have additional
Pretty sure.
customer growth.
Right.
The more growth you have, the more revenue you have to keep your rates at a moderate pace. So,
We're kind of putting Doug on the spot too. He has no numbers in front of him tonight. so-
He did run it one time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Should know at least
there's 45
flush it out or
houses
not.
in that neighborhood, and there's numerous of those that their systems are failing now all the time, and are asking to be on City Sewer, but we can't do it for just one or two. We can't do it for just the chosen few. So,
Mr. Mayor, I think that's another reason for us to push as a community to lean on the state a little bit to open up 103 to 70. Since it's the only state road in the whole state of Indiana that intersects 70, it doesn't have an exchange. I mean, that would benefit not only us, but the county and Louisville.
residentially, Newcastle would have grown to Louisville before it
Yeah,
grows
yeah,
despite
it's stupid.
residentially.
It's really stupid.
And there is a property on the east side of 103 that the guy would rather sell it off in lots than he would sell it off in 5-acre plots. And he would like to put numerous homes out there, not just 5-acre lots. So, anything else that you want?
We also had, not all council's aware, but we also had ordinance 3823 tonight on the agenda that Doug was going to be here and give us some more numbers on, but council spoke, and we kind of want to revisit the amounts on this. In the next week or two, we'll get with everybody, instead of going with what was presented to us from administration. I mean, it's not way off base, but we just need to talk about some things amongst council on that. And Doug was here to give us some numbers on that, to tell us how, which you can go ahead, Doug, tell us how close we are with how close we are and how much more we need to give or put into that fund,
Yeah.
sanitation fund.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have a capital improvement program, you need to replace your totes. So a big part of this ordinance that was thought might be on the council agenda
Right.
tonight was to be able to replace those totes over a 5-year period. In addition, you want to make sure you have enough money set aside in order to replace totes, even, as people bring them in, and instead of just having one for everybody. And in addition to other costs of the utilities. So I think that's where the tweaking is going to come.
Right.
It won't take us long at all to revise the study and bring it back to the council.
I'll have,
That wasn't in the original ordinance,
pardon me?
planning on replacement of.
It was not in the original ordinance, and that's why we need to get
So-
some wording in, for our sake this time, right?
Mark, do you have a committee that's going to set and generate information for us, or?
We can do, I'll do special issues committee on this, and we'll do that, and I'll get with Brenda and have her get with you. It won't be long, it should be before the first of the year. So I'll just have Brenda get with you.
If I could ask one question on that.
Oh, yeah.
This may be to Lee. How many properties do we have that this would affect? How many properties have totes? Huh? It's not,
Christie knows.
Christie, or does somebody
Every
know
water.
that?
Every water customer is a trash customer.
And we,
So we are
That's
looking
residential,
at
though, right?
How many?
residential, 7,500 to 8,000 customers.
Okay, thank you.
And it's taking back to totes at 16,000 toters.
Right.
Plus you need ones that when they break, you have spares, so.
Right.
In all honesty, you're probably looking at needing, if you replaced everything in the city currently that's there and have some spares, you're looking somewhere between 18,000 and 20,000 toters, I think. and the last time we bought toters was earlier this year. It was right at $47 a toter. Now, if you buy a larger quantity than what we did, I think the price came down to $3 or $4 a toter, but you're still looking at a minimum of probably $45 a toter plus shipping if they don't give us the other shit.
It has helped that we've gone to one size tote.
Right.
The smaller totes were more expensive than the bigger ones.
Have we phased that out of the ordinance?
Did
we phase that out?
Yes, I'm pretty
Yeah, we
sure.
took
But we
the
left it, they
smaller
could
toter
have
out.
two.
You could have two, but we took the smaller.
Kind of brain dead on trash ordinance.
I think that's-
It wasn't large and small, but we took that out and said two toters.
But just said two total.
Okay, I thought. Anybody else have any questions for Doug while he's here? Council? If not, thank you, Doug, appreciate it. Sorry for the.
Oh, no problem at all. And probably be talking soon about if you do decide on that expansion
Oh, yeah.
project, you'd have to do some work.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks very
Doug,
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Thanks, everyone else.
Cool.
Mr. President, I turn this meeting over to you.
Thanks, Mayor. On the agenda, we have ordinance 3822. It's an ordinance granting retirement benefits for city employees. Whereas the city of Newcastle has a retirement benefit that provides retirees with certain insurance coverage, and whereas that coverage should be limited to elected officials, full-time employees with a minimum of 20 years of continuous employment or 10 years of continuous employment at age 60. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Newcastle that all prior ordinances with regard to the receipt of insurance benefits by city retirees should be amended as follows. All full-time employees who have been employed in such a full-time capacity for the City of Newcastle for a minimum of 20 years of continuous employment or 10 years of continuous employment at age 60, with the city is eligible to receive retiree health and life insurance benefits from the city. In order to do so, the employee must elect such coverage and pay the city the retiree share of the said premium in advance pursuant to the rules established by the Newcastle Clerk Treasurers in order to ensure payment of such premium. Upon reaching the age of 65, the retiree would receive such coverage as available under the city's Medicare supplement insurance plan as currently provided by existing city ordinances. Elected officials who meet the credible service definition herein set forth, all full-time employees as utilized here and above include all represented, not represented, appointed, and elected city employees who meet the definition of full-time employee who works a minimum of 40 hours each week, 52 weeks a year, subject to vacation, holiday, and sick time. Said years of service must be continuous and meet the definition. A credible service at that term is defined by Public Employees Retirement Fund. All former employees must have 20 years of viable, credible, and continuous employment with the City of Newcastle to be eligible for the City of Newcastle retiree benefits. It's further ordained that this amendment shall be effect of any person who retired on or before December 31st, 2019. Said ordinance shall be effective on January 1st, 2020. Any provisions of the ordinance previously passed by this council not changed or amended by language set forth herein above shall remain in full force and effect. Anybody on council have anything about this?
Can you speak to the state audit yet? Has it been released?
Our audit?
Yes.
Yes.
So is this related to the plan that the city came up with, Greg?
What this ordinance, right now, the way the ordinance reads, anyone who's hired who has worked a per position
At another
at
city?
another city, I'll give you an example. And it was during Mayor Small's term, hired an employee who had 18 years at Anderson and came here, and all he needed was 18 months to retire on PERF. He worked here 18 months, and the way our ordinance reads is if he was PERF eligible, he's a city retiree. He worked for us for 18 months, and he is a lifetime retiree of the city. because he was an active employee at the time. So basically what this ordinance does is
It protects.
it's pointing it out across the board. That's the way it is for police and fire.
Here.
We had another employee who worked at the prison, and his prison was perp at the time. He came here, worked 5 years, he's a retiree on our insurance, because he was perp eligible when he retired. So,
That makes sense.
we're carrying employees that really didn't work for us for any amount of time.
Have all the city groups been briefed on this? Are they aware of these changes?
We can't get it, but what, if you don't approve it, we don't need to make them aware of it. But we need to.
I mean,
That's true.
I'll make a motion to accept 3822.
I mean, do you have other reservations?
No, I was just asking. It kind of makes sense to me.
Right.
So,
I second that.
A motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Barrington. Aye. Jack Hancock. Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Holder.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Aye.
Rex Beck.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
That's all resolutions and ordinances at this time. I'll turn the floor for committee reports to Councilor Burrington.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay.
I just have one phone call. Jeff Salina has a chuck hole in front of his store leak.
Yeah.
At a water cut.
I don't know, that might be that boring company that, we don't have to get there. Yeah, and the boring company that came through.
Do we need to patch it or anything?
Like,
Boring
restrict the
cut?
boring companies from coming to town.
Right.
Like to do, they did a sewer
Right.
line, they did a gas line, they did,
Can we go ahead and patch that then if we're waiting for the boring company to come back? Who knows when?
yeah, I just hope it'll be a while, but not right now, we'll leave it.
Okay.
Is there any way to hold
I'll
them,
let him
Dave,
know.
any way liable for certain damages to streets? Because I know that's not the only one.
He's chasing them down right now, or?
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is just try to get them, chase them down and tell them to come in and fix it. Right now, I don't know that we have any kind of, and it might be very difficult to make other utilities post a bond or pay us any money. I mean, I.
Like prior to,
Yeah, prior to doing work. You'd have trouble with Duke and with, Verizon and all those companies. But I think if we just kind of muscle up, and say, guys, let's get this fixed, or we're gonna charge you.
Well, one company came in and put up poles.
Sometimes that's better than, if it was, than getting in a legal squabble.
That's all, Your Honor.
On 15th Street?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not real big, you know.
Yeah,
It's just a square, but.
it's too small for a water.
Yeah, yeah, just a bag of blacktop and fill it in, and you can have it.
Otherwise lose a
We'll
tire.
get to it. Garrett?
are you going to speak to what's going on? Just driving by the new facility, EMS facility, seems like every night there's a lot of activity going on there, and I just thought Josh might want to speak to what's going on there.
Essentially, everything that you see going on down there is education. So, the Career Center is hosting 2 high school student classes each day, Monday through Friday. We've done some countywide training down there over the weekend, and then every Thursday evening, you'll see vehicles there, because we've got an adult education class there. And then starting in the middle of January, there'll be a second adult education class on Tuesday nights. So that's what you're seeing going on down there.
Well, we've had a lot of police cars down there getting new radios put in the past 2 weeks, past week. So there has been a lot of.
It's just nice to see that, Mr. Mayor, and real proud of what you've been able to do there, Josh.
Hopefully after December, you'll see.
And if you have a chance, if you haven't been there, council members, you may want to stop by and let Josh take you around. It's pretty neat what's going on there. That's all.
I don't have anything.
nothing.
I want to bring this up. year ago or so, there's been a little discussion about doing something with Trojan Lane as far as some medians out there, the islands. And I've kind of been running with that a little bit to get some numbers put together to what it would take to actually dress that all the way from Road 3 to the corner of Baker Park right there. And I've got some preliminary numbers, and I'm recruiting Rex to work with me, and we're going to see if we can't take this and move forward with it. So there is some activity on Trojan Lane, some thought process to get that, take it up a few notches. That's all.
Well, in that process, used to be a pull-out bid, and it's not because we have fireworks there now. But when you come out of the gate, behind the scoreboard, police, fire, everybody's got to turn to the west. I want to put another median there so that they can pull out and go east or west. Kind of pain to have to pull out there, isn't it?
That's just less we have to landscape, so that's cool.
Yeah, so there used to be a pull through there. I'd like to put another one there when we do that.
Save us some money. All right, I like it.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to mention, there is a project in Stellar that will help with sidewalks there along Trojan Lane. So, maybe that builds into what we're looking at. But we went over to Indianapolis last Thursday, gave the Stellar presentation for all the different organizations from the state. The mayor was present, Mrs. Boyle, Mr. Russell, about 22 other people from Newcastle and Henry County were there. Sean was there. He was an integral part of our team. Without him, we'd still be standing there waiting on Ken's iPad probably. But anyway, everything went really, really well. I've been in coaching and all this for 4 years, and everything can go really, really well, and you still may not win, but feel good about the effort, good about the process, and I thought the presentation went well, and we'll find out December 5th. Basically, if we win that or we don't. I thought it was kind of interesting because Corey Murphy brought up the point that on, I think it was November, was Thursday the 14th or the 16th. Anyway, Thursday was the 30th anniversary of the movie Hoosiers being released, and we had several references in our plan to basketball and to the Hoosier gym and different things like that. And so we thought it was kind of apropos that was when we did our presentation, and then the final award is going to be made on the day of our Christmas walk. So that's kind of a neat thing, and maybe it'll be a big celebration. I hope so. But just want to thank everybody. Pretty much everybody in this room has had some little, at minimum, some little something to do with the process, and some people a lot to do with it. And I just want to thank everybody for their efforts and for taking part. And I think we're better off because we've got to plan whether we win or lose, but we're hoping that we win. The second thing I have tonight, we've added a little beauty to the room. I looked back here earlier, and these guys were all sitting there, and then this nice young lady came walking up, and it made that back area look a lot better. But Christy Williamson is here, and she is an English teacher at the middle school, and she approached me about her students are doing a project, and I'm not going to try to explain it all. I'm going to let her explain it, but it sounds like a really good project, and she wants us to help her in choosing the winner of the project. And we'll let you come forward, Christy, and talk about that.
Hello, my name is Christy Williamson. My 8th grade focus English class made brochures. We studied persuasion at the end of the year. We actually had Mayor Gordon come in as a guest speaker, and real estate agents Susan Neal and Matt Huffman, and they had to persuade people to move to Newcastle. So our goal is to put the winning brochure into different real estate offices, and the agents can give them to people that would show off Newcastle and hopefully persuade them to come. So we talk about color and what they, bulleted points, and make sure your grammar is correct, and font and everything. So I do have the copies in black and white for all of you, but I do have one, because, we didn't have a make all these in color. But I do have one set of color. And they did vote in class who is the winner, but I don't want to tell you because I don't want that to skew what you would think. So really what, and, you know, no one came tonight, so I understand. There were 15 of them, and they're all involved in everything else that's going on at school. So the goal is then for you to vote on which candidate you think is the most persuasive that would help people to want to come to Newcastle, what highlights, pictures that they've chosen, words they've chosen, quotes they've chosen. So if you could do that for us, and then you can let us know which one you think is the winner, and then we're going to work on getting color copies made and put those in real estate offices. So.
And I will take the folder, and I'll take a picture of all the ones in color and send them out so that when you've looked at your black and white copy, and maybe you've narrowed down to where, you know, the content tells you that this may be really good, you can look at those color photos.
So we just let you know our choices, actually, we'll pass them over to Chris.
Yeah, well, she's going to come back the next council meeting, and, yeah, and we'll pretty much tell the person, or, you know, we'll figure out how to do that, but we'll let Christie know, and then we'll figure out how to honor the person, the winner, or whatever.
So do we want that person to be here at that next meeting?
Yeah, so we'll try to maybe get all of our self-tabulated by about maybe Tuesday, maybe a week from this coming Tuesday, so that a week from tomorrow, so that we've got a name so we can give her, so maybe she can get that person to come.
Just so we can tell them things.
Yeah.
We appreciate what they've done also.
And they really enjoyed hearing everything about Newcastle. They had really thought of how lucky they are to live in Newcastle, what a great town. So to hear what you said, and Susan and Matt, it was neat.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor, that's it.
Okay. Chief, you have anything this evening? Still, I don't. Mike? Any Dan? Dave? Council? Brenda? Kendra? Doug, I know you do.
Yep, one time. So December 12th and 13th, we're doing our annual Christmas platform. It's going to start at 5:45. We're doing reservations only, so you know, if anyone just wanting to reserve, start taking reservations November 25th. And it looks like we're going to be doing a Thursday, Friday, and then that following Monday. It's going to be 3 nights this year. So.
Good deal. Well, it was so busy last year, I think. Just taking a third time. Okay. Good. Thank you. Anything else?
Doug, I don't know if you know, but the campground, and I don't know if it's too far out, but the campground's putting on a big light show, Cornerstone out there, and I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I made contact with them, and they're going to be doing a lot of walking.
Okay, so, all right, I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Appreciate it.
Christie? Greg? Lee? Unfortunately, I hate to announce, it's a little late now, we have had another employee that has passed away, Steve Swolba, that ran our wastewater plant. He has been here and literally got our sewage plant turned around and got us some grant money that's in the process of a $600,000 grant that he worked diligently on. About 3 months ago, we found out he had a tumor on his brain and thought that they had got it and thought he was taking treatments and things were going well, and then they found mold on his lungs and thought they took out part of his lungs, thought they got that taken care of, then they found 2 more tumors on his brain, and what we thought he was getting better, he passed away within 3 months. He lived in Hagerstown, and he did a great job for us. It's hard to find people that want to administer sewage. He had worked numerous years in Richmond and did a great job there, and we recruited him from Richmond to come here. It's a huge loss for our community, and I hate it. I'm speechless. It's going to be really hard to fill his shoes. It's going to be hard to find somebody that will do as good a job as he did. And we're going to be searching diligently to fill that position. And you have to have a Class 4 certification. I mean, we can't just find somebody off the street that would say, oh, I'd like to do that. There's no young kids coming up through high school or college that want to work at sewage plant. It's a hard sell. But you did a great job, and we had never had any, we have to literally have to turn in numbers, bacterial numbers of what goes in Blue River every month. Every month. And we were never late, we were never out of violation, we were always on track. I never worried 1 second about it. So we've got a huge loss there. His wife is just lost without him. You know, she was a stay-at-home wife, and so it's not been a good weekend because of that. But we've got a huge spot to fill. And if you hear of anybody that has a Class 4 in sewage, we're looking. So I hate to announce that, but we're truly going to miss him. And hate to have to make that announcement. Want to wish everybody, before we get going, want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up real quick. So at this time, if there's anyone from the public that would like to come forward, like anything to say, you know, it's time to come up and proceed.
Good evening, Penny York, and I'm here representing Sam Hall, who got called away. I thought I was on the agenda. Was I supposed to be on the
Well, that was the last one.
Yeah, I emailed you, and you remember what you on the phone? You said the 18th.
We thought it was the last meeting. But it's
For
okay.
Little Caesars? Yeah, you said the paperwork hadn't been completed, there weren't any drawings submitted. And so I'm here representing Sam because he got called away. And so I'm here to say that Sam wants to go forward with the zoning regardless of having a tenant or a potential tenant for that parcel. I know that Paul Armstrong called you, Greg, and he called Sam, and he called myself to say that he is not sure that he can go forward here. He has some other opportunities. He thought his zoning would probably be in place by this time. And so I'm here just to represent Sam to say that he wants to move forward with no particular tenant in mind.
It's my understanding that he's going to build a new store in Anderson.
He's
looking to relocate the local store here at an existing facility. That's tentatively what's on his mind now.
So, you know, it seems like the ship may have sailed for that opportunity. And so I'm here to get your input about whether that zoning can move forward without having a specific tenant in mind, a specific purchaser of the land in mind. Are we on the same page, Mark?
Yeah, I was going back through my email. It was vague. It's probably more my fault than yours. I apologize. I don't want to speak for council, so I'm speaking, I think, for myself. I would like, personally, I would like this to go back to planning commission if that's possible. I mean, I don't know if it's possible. I've never been in this situation in 10 years
You could make a motion, or you could vote to remand it back to the plan commission to consider other things. They are just your advisory.
I don't want to cost Sam more money. I mean, and I don't think this will. I mean, he's not going to have to present anything new. Am I out of line? Am I off base? Anybody? Dave? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean...
Legally, you have every right to pass the ordinance, to deny the ordinance, or remand it to the commission for more consideration.
Now, if we did take it back to commission, he's not going to have to reapply for all the
Well,
the same.
It depends. If it's, I don't know, you would have to give the commission instruction as to what you wanted them to look at. In other words, the application is to rezone it from one zoning classification, its current classification, I think to R, do you remember?
R3 to.
C1.
R3 to C2 or C1?
C1.
I don't know.
R3 to C1, I've got the application.
Yeah.
So if you're going to remand it for them to consider it further, they would need to know what they're considering, if that makes sense to you. In other words, they've made a decision that it should be rezoned, or no, that's wrong. They have recommended rezoning. You were there, Mark, you know what they.
I think the concern that came out was that we had other concerns brought to us between the rezone, or the zoning board and us hearing it on our table. But now, if they're looking at rezoning it with no tenant, I don't know that there's
I
any real
honestly
truth
think,
there.
and I know I said on the commission, I know I voted for it, I'm not trying to deny that, but hindsight's 20/20 when you sit on a board like that, and the residents just, I don't feel were properly informed of what was gonna be put in that position.
What is it?
And I don't think they were given enough time. I know by law they say they were, but there were no certified letters, there was, you know.
I think, let me clarify that, because I know what you're saying. I think they checked all the boxes they have to do for this type of zoning, but I think that it impacts more people than they're necessarily required to notify. Because I agree with you.
I mean, I don't, I'm sure they were within the law, I mean, we did everything within.
And it was
within
put in the
statute.
paper. Now, having said that, a legal ad is not a front page ad.
I understand.
So, everything you're saying is probably true. I've often recommended that it might not hurt to put like signs in the front when a property's going to be rezoned, like a sign up in front, so that people see it when they drive by. That's not part of our ordinance. So
Again, I don't want to speak for council, so if anybody's got something.
Well, you know, my concern, of course, we couldn't vote on it tonight anyway, but my concern is that, and I'm not saying this is what's going on, my concern is it's just kind of an end run, and as soon as it's rezoned, then all of a sudden Little Caesars goes up there, and the people around that were upset at the last meeting are still upset. Or if it's rezoned, that's why I'd like to send it back to the commission to really look at, because if it's rezoned, and
Anything can go in.
anything can go in there, and those people are still upset. And we should take great consideration of the people that are there, I think. I may be wrong, but I think.
It's very important to keep in mind the difference between a rezoning and a variance. A rezoning approves a change of use. Once that's done, anything that meets those ordinance criteria
Comes directly to us.
can go in. It doesn't come back to you.
They're good to go.
Once you
They can
do
build.
rezoning,
there.
anything that meets that classification and can meet those standards goes into that lot. A variance is for a particular use. So if John Doe wanted to put something on a lot and not change the zoning, but get a variance, which then he would have to meet certain, he would have to do like, it would never come to you. A variance never comes to you. But the Board of Zoning Appeals can say, okay, but you have to have this kind of setback more than what you're doing. Or you have to have a shrub line. It's a far more detailed process. So, if that helps.
It does. We sit on this board for a reason, for our neighbors, is the reason we're here. And that's my ward, that's everybody's neighborhood. And I know there's different circumstances that happen within the city, from opening up dead-end streets to putting businesses where sometimes they don't belong, and we don't give it enough thought. We don't think about the people who live there every day. And I think we need to take that into consideration right now. Business is one thing, but a residence is another. So I move that we rescind and send it back to commission.
I'll second that.
Motion made, second. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this out there. I understand all that, but as I look at that entire block, there's only one residential property on that entire block.
There's a house right across the street that they're trying to sell for residential now.
Yeah, but not in that block.
$200,000 home right across the street.
Of course, it used to be the clothing outlet.
But I think that to me personally, the overall feeling from that corner than say the opposite I mean, the feeling from there and from a block away is completely different to me. You drive down that alley, it feels residential. You go a block over, it feels commercial. And I lump that corner property in with that side, and it just seems residential to me. I mean, if we're being blunt and honest, that's my opinion.
Well, it's 1-1.
I think any time we rezone something without a specific tenant, like Dave said, I think we're putting ourselves up
Right.
against the eagle.
Especially in an area like
To me,
that.
I mean, it opens it up to,
It's got a commercial beside it.
and
got
it's
a
not,
residential
it's,
behind it.
this doesn't have anything to do with sand. This is,
You could put an adult bookstore even.
no, this is aesthetics.
like
This
that.
is,
Yeah.
That would have, you can't put it in C1.
this is something that we've already discussed that. But, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, so I just want you to be aware that my understanding of zoning, and I would ask you to correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, when we do this in the world of economic development, nobody knows who's going into an industrial facility out in the industrial park. You know, if we had to tell the name of every single person, and I'm mixing economic development with my own personal information here, but this is a, I just have to give you a frame of reference. So Sam has spent $416.58, and the statistics are within 2 blocks of that parcel, there are 13 different places that have some kind of commercial or service or retail activity going on. And so, I mean, I'll be happy to name them for you, starting with McCowan, the Nest, which is retail, the liquor store, consignment shop across the street, counseling office, accounting office, law office at Main Street, the former medical facility down by the post office. There's a church, a post office, a pharmacy, senior housing, and a capitation restaurant. So with all that said, I just want to say that my understanding was, so we started this in July. The first day of July, I applied. I helped Sam with the application. 7/31, we went to the planning commission. Mr. Armstrong's been along at all these, and I think you would probably say from the ones that you've attended, where he's been there, he couldn't have been more hospitable, more willing to work with people, more considerate of Mr. Carnes. He turned around facing and said, hey, I'll do whatever you want within reason, just so there's not some big fence that I can't afford in my business model. He has been a tax-paying citizen here. He's been in business for many years. He supports local organizations. It was a good story to tell, although Sam still could have presented himself and never named it and just said, I think I'm going to have a better opportunity with this lot to try for commercial. So that's his intention. So, I mean, frankly, Mr. Armstrong has gone quiet. He's like, if they're not interested in my investment in this community, it's more than $200,000 to have a new facility there for him. And so he said, I have Anderson that's calling me every other day trying to get me to come to their county. I don't know if he'll do it or not. He said, well, I have to do something in Newcastle. But I would just say with those investments made of time, energy, July to now the middle of November, my understanding was that, the planning commission is there in their advisory role, then it would come to you. And I understand Mr. Carnes and his son, actually his son spoke on his behalf, and I appreciate the respect you gave him. Probably a little bit could just say, I just want it rezoned commercial, which he has every right to come back and do that. Not with you folks not maybe even knowing what the future is, what the plan is. Am I correct that the zoning can change, and then you have Kennydale Mountain over here to be the police of that zoning, to say 30-foot setback, here's my drawings, you know, here's my architectural drawings, and is that what you do, is you guide them, Kenny?
Well, we give them the setbacks, they gotta
And
go by.
you're the approver of the ordinance that's in
Well,
place?
now, Penny, you're right with what you say, but Kenny can't say, if the use is a use that's permissible in that district, Kenny can't say no.
He couldn't say, put up a fence to block the light. or-
Not unless the ordinance
Or
called
red,
for
right.
screening. If the ordinance called for screening, he would. But if it's C1, is that what?
Local business.
So it could be, I'll give you an example. There is a commercial lot at the northwest corner of Riley and Main. That was obviously a residential lot at one time. Someone put in, got a variance for, I think, a doctor or an
Dental.
office.
Dental office.
Dental office.
Done, yeah.
Probably the neighbors don't mind a dental office. But if that had been rezoned C1, a retail business could go in there, which the neighbors might mind. So that's the biggest difference I can explain. I'm not speaking for or against what Penny said. I just want you to understand the difference between, that's why I was a little uncomfortable when you had this ordinance before you, and you were talking about hedges and things like that. Unless the ordinance calls for it, you have to change your ordinance, your zoning code. That's why you have a zoning code. It sets out standards and uses for different districts.
I don't know, and I'm asking. The north corner on that same block, is it zone business?
That is
Commercial?
C1. You're talking about McAllen's?
Well, I didn't want to go on this. Name it, but,
Yeah,
how did
that is-
how did that get zoned with no building, no?
He came in and rezoned that whole area.
Was there a building there at one time? What was there?
I know.
Parking lot for a clinic.
Yeah, he rezoned all of that. They pulled up the paperwork. He rezoned all of that back.
How did he get rezoned without a building or without a?
I wasn't here at that
land?
time. I don't
I'm just asking, I mean, it's on the same block.
Well, it had to pass the
Have to go
zoning.
through the same process.
Yeah.
It would go through the plan commission and then come to city council.
And I will say, there's nothing new to be presented at the planning commission. It's just simply, I want to change the zoning to C1. There's no other business in mind. You know, I know that's just me saying that, but Sam would say the same thing. It seems like an opportunity that he would want to change that and not waste his investment of $416.58 for application fee, advertising, and postage sent out to, all the letters that were supposed to be sent out were sent back. Mr. Carnes didn't sign and send his green card back, but he is the only guy that didn't right there. Everyone else did. And so, I don't know, I guess I just have a concern that what would be accomplished by going back to the planning commission? How differently could anyone feel? You know, we brought Paul along in an effort for transparency because it seemed to be a good story, and it's almost like it feels like maybe that backfired.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
You might want to check, our ordinance, what local business is. It's a restaurant's about the most intrusive thing there would be. It's about, everything else is a dental office. You can't have a car lot, you can have a car showroom. There's just, that's about the most intrusive thing would be a restaurant that can go in C1. Everything else is like professional offices and things like it, insurance office, doctor's office. So there's not, it's pretty, it's stick limits.
Well, if you were to ask a city planner, they would say that this area was zoned residential. A church is a residential commercial use. That's why the church didn't have to have anything special, to have the church in a parking lot. A city planner would say, unless you think this neighborhood should change, it should probably, that parking lot should be a house. They should tear it up and build a house there. That's what a city planner would say, unless, as a community, through considering what your master plan is, you should change that neighborhood. And that may be what you think should be done. But that's really what you're saying, when you zone something. Again, I'm not speaking.
You know, I feel like we're being put on the spot here because it's a personal attack on us. And you're using Sam against us as a name, and I kind of take offense to that. And I think we need to treat this as a business, you know, and leave names out of it. That's my personal opinion.
What name are you referencing?
You're referencing. I'm not.
Are you talking about the fact that I named the businesses?
No, that you keep naming Sam in this.
I just said I'm representing him.
Mhm.
I'm not on the agenda to represent him. He got called out, and that's why.
Well, that's just my personal opinion, and again, I'm speaking for myself. So we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second. So.
And the motion is to resend it to the zoning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Roll call vote, please.
Mary Brankin. Aye. Jeff Hancock.
Aye.
Jerry Walden.
Aye.
Aaron Dickens.
Aye.
Mark Hogan.
Aye.
Lynn Purdue.
Nay.
Rex Beckapple.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
We'll get that put on the agenda back with.
Probably the earliest it could be on the agenda would be January.
Absolutely.
When does the zoning board meet next?
It's convenient that when there's certain
I can tell you,
agenda items
come up to me after the meeting there, and I'll tell you the date of the month. Any other citizens wishing to come before the council this evening?
I know it's a rough evening. I just wanted to come up. Jerry, thank you for what you've done. You too, Mr. Walker. Appreciate what you've done in my neighborhood. Chief, thank you for the work. What we've done up to that over. Appreciate that. We do have the parks closed. Miss Patty, they are closed. We will be getting trees down too, tonight, somehow or another during the council meeting. And I appreciate every one of you, and I appreciate everything you've done. And y'all do know where I'll be at work. If you need me, give me a holler. And if it's work, keep it.
Thanks a lot. Good Thanksgiving. Any other citizens?
I'm Sean Dufault with the Chamber of Commerce. Just want to, I have one question to ask regarding our Christmas walk on December 5th, and I apologize if it's not the right place to ask the question. So, but I was kind of curious about the public parking facilities we have around the area. I know that we're closing on Broad Street, which is a lot of parking for a lot of people. We're using the 1400 Plaza. I was wondering if is there signage and lights for the other public parking that is available and around? Is that? I didn't even know there were other public parking. I talked to somebody 2 weeks ago. I said, well, there's more public parking here than I realized.
Citizen state.
Is there any way to just
The
publish
library would be
a
a great
map?
place to keep it. 1400 Plaza.
Behind
Sears parking lot.
Sears parking lot, library.
Yeah, so,
County lot.
Most, I'd say most of the people that'll be coming there are probably familiar enough with that area that they'll know
okay.
some
The
parking
only reason why I
places.
bring it up is because we are closing off Broad Street, and that was generally a means of ways of traveling back and forth, so I was just kind of curious. And I apologize if this isn't the right place to ask, I was just.
No, I think you're right. I don't know that we have signage, but it might be helpful to like publish a map of the area and just mark where you could park. It would be.
It's a shame we don't have somebody working on signage for our downtown district. We are kind of working on it, and it's been brought up numerous times.
But I do want to thank Main Street for starting to decorate the Broad Street lights posts and such. It's starting to look more like Christmas. Even today, our EMC put up the lights on the tree up there by the courthouse, and I thought Santa was already up and running. So I wasn't expecting that, and so that was a great, nice, pleasant surprise. So thankful for that. We are having a ribbon cutting ceremony on the 5th as well at 10:45 in the morning. Temptations Restaurant is having a ribbon cutting ceremony. So just wanted to make the council aware of that as well. And then
Is the chamber sponsoring samples?
you will need to talk with him.
Oh, okay.
But and she's also going to be starting her dinner menu that night as well, kicking that off with the Christmas walk. So she's very excited about that opportunity. Hope I didn't. But anyway,
Yeah, she's been talking about it.
yeah, I was thinking because I don't want to get into trouble with her.
No.
But outside of that, though, I do want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving as well.
You too, Sean. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Any other citizens?
Your Honor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
We adjourn.